We experience life as a relentless forward current. We wake up, the clock ticks, and time carries us downstream, pushing us from the past toward the future, whether we swim against it or let it take us. We perceive space in much the same way, as a vast, empty expanse sitting between us and the things we want. To reach a goal, a person, or a new phase of life, we assume we have to cross that physical distance. Because of this, we spend our lives reacting. We wait for events to arrive. We brace for impact. We operate under the assumption that the universe is a series of unpredictable events actively happening to us. Our entire human survival strategy relies on this battle against the clock and the empty distances between us. We exert massive effort to manage our schedules and bridge these gaps, hoping we can force the right outcomes to line up. But the physics of consciousness suggest a different model. What if time isn't actually moving? And what if the space between objects is completely solid? The universe is not currently evolving. It isn't being built, and it isn't unfolding step by step. It is already completely finished. This is the framework of the eternal now. It is a massive, multi-dimensional architecture where every single possible event, every choice, and every outcome already exists in a completed state. Treating time and space as physical containers traps us in a cycle of effort and exhaustion. To drop the illusion of victimhood, we have to understand the hidden mechanics of how this architecture actually operates. Before time, there was a state of infinite stillness. It held absolute potential, but because it had no boundaries or reference points, it had no way to perceive its own nature. For awareness to achieve definition, that stillness had to move. This movement created a ripple of self-reflection, a primordial act of becoming that asked the question, what am I? Every possible expression manifested simultaneously, an explosive impulse locked into a precise geometric grid. Multiplying exponentially everywhere at once, it generated every conceivable pattern and timeline. This dense, multidimensional lattice is a completed hologram, a crystalline sculpture of absolute reality. Since every possibility materialized in that initial spark, the future doesn't need to be written. The timeline you will experience tomorrow is already sitting quietly within this frozen architecture. If creation is entirely static and finished, we face a logical hurdle. Why do we wake up every day and experience movement, change, and the feeling of events taking place? Imagine this completed sculpture in absolute darkness. Human awareness is a narrow light beam illuminating just one facet. As our limited perception sweeps across specific coordinates one by one, this movement creates the compelling illusion of flowing time and events. We are not traveling through time. Our focus is simply shifting its position across a static architecture, billions of times per second. Time functions as the perceptual byproduct of our consciousness, panning its flashlight across the eternal now. To understand how to navigate this structure, we have to look past the beam of light and examine the actual material the sculpture is carved from. Every node in this structure shares a single underlying resonance, a frequency of absolute inclusion, often described as unconditional love. This frequency operates as the mathematical yes of existence. It is a structural law that allows every possible pattern, from the lightest to the darkest, to occupy the same lattice without being rejected or excluded. Look closely at this cross-section. Because the entire structure is forged from the exact same frequency, the empty space between two objects isn't empty. It is a different resonance of the exact same continuous waveform. Physical distance and separation are perceptual limitations. The flashlight simply fails to see the connecting frequency that binds every coordinate in the grid together. This mechanics model reveals our actual position in the universe. We are not victims being swept down a moving river. We are the active locus of causality, steering the flashlight. If you find yourself in a reality or a timeline you do not like, the solution requires a shift in your internal orientation. Exerting immense effort to manipulate circumstances, force a new outcome, or fix the universe is as futile as trying to physically break the sculpture. The structure is already finished. The mechanic of change is phase shifting. By altering your internal frequency, your own resonance and focus, you automatically angle your flashlight to illuminate a different, higher coherent facet of the completed reality. To change your world, you don't have to alter a single piece of the completed masterpiece. You change your resonance, allowing the exact same architecture to reveal an entirely new face.